welcome to the B1 lesson on house and home. So, it's a vocabulary focused lesson. I'm going to go through some words you can use to talk about where you live. So, types of houses, rooms, and furniture and appliances, which are the objects in each room. So, let's start with some different types of houses. So normally when someone asks you, where do you live? You might say, I live in Valencia, or I live in Benimaclet, which is in Valencia. But often people want a bit more information, especially if you're doing an exam. So that's when you can say where you live. For example, I live in a flat in Valencia. Now, I can also be more specific and say how many bedrooms my flat has. So I can say I live in a 3-bedroomed flat. In a 3-bedroom flat. Or, can you see that? Yeah. Or I live in a 2-bedroom flat. Now, flat is typical for the UK. That's generally what we say in the UK. However, in America and other parts of the world, they say an apartment. Now, you live in one flat that is in a block of flats. That is the name of the building as a whole. A block of flats, okay? So I can say, I live in that block of flats at the end of the street, okay? So, obviously a flat, often most people in the city live in a flat. You can also live in a house, of course. Now, a house, we can again be more specific. So we can say, I live in a detached house. A detached house is a house on its own with a door that doesn't share any walls. This is a wall. Yeah, this is a wall. The walls of a room or the walls of a house. It doesn't share any walls with the house next to it. It's detached. It's alone by itself. Okay, so you might find detached houses in England. You find them outside the city, yeah, in the neighborhoods outside the city. You can also have a semi-detached house. Now, a semi-detached house is a house that shares one wall with another house, like this. So you have two houses together, then you would have a space, a gap, and then you would have another two houses together. These are semi-detached houses, another very typical type of house in England or in the UK. And finally, we can also have a terraced house. So, a terraced house, I might write that a little bit bigger for you, I don't know if the writing is big enough. A terraced house, okay? So a terraced house is a house that shares both of its walls with another house. It can go on for however long you want. So you have a row of houses all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can continue. And these are what we call terraced houses. So I can say, I live in a 3-bedroom terraced house. Okay, to be a bit more specific. So we have flats, we have houses. You might also live in a mansion. If you have a lot of money, possibly if you're a celebrity with lots of money, you will live in a mansion, a luxurious house, a luxurious, an adjective to describe a house with lots of luxurious things, lots of expensive things. So a big, luxurious house, a mansion. We might also live in a bungalow. Do you know what a bungalow is? A bungalow is a house because it has a roof. Typically, a house has a roof. A roof. This thing here is a roof. So typically, a house has a roof. A bungalow has a roof, but it's different because it only has one floor. It only has one floor. Or story. You can say a floor or you can say a story. So my house in England has 2 floors. Yeah, the downstairs and the upstairs. So we have a house like this that has the downstairs and it has the upstairs. You still see if I'm writing here. The upstairs. Okay, downstairs, upstairs. But in a bungalow, you don't have upstairs and downstairs. You only have the downstairs. I'm looking at the camera, the wrong camera again. Downstairs, 1 floor. Okay, that is a bungalow. Also, typically in England, you might have older people living in a bungalow, so they don't have to walk up the stairs. Okay, we also have a cottage. 2 T's, a cottage. A cottage is a typical house in the countryside, not in the city, in the countryside. Okay, so they're normally quite small houses, and they often have, so it's a house that's like this. The roof is often what we call thatched, a thatched roof. Now, a thatched roof means it's made like this, so it has crosses. Yeah, if you type into Google Images a cottage, you can try an English cottage, you will see the type of house that I'm talking about, and you can see that the roof is a special type of roof. It's a roof, it's a thatched roof. Okay, what else do we have? We have a cottage, we also have a farmhouse. Yeah, very self-explanatory. The house typically on or even next to a farm, mostly lived in by a farmer, of course, the person who has to look after the animals and the plants, a farmhouse. You might also, I don't know how low I could go, should be able to still see here, live in a caravan. Yes, you have some families who live in a caravan that they can then travel in, or a camper van. Okay, a caravan or a camper van. You could also live in a, it's just gone out of my head, working in a caravan, in a boat, on a boat. Yeah, sometimes we have what we call a houseboat. Again, very self-explanatory. It's when someone makes their boat into, normally, often a long, thin boat. They make their boat into a house and they live on a, not normally on a river, what you would call a barge, a small river, and they live on their boat. Houses. One more that I didn't say. An apartment, a type of apartment that only has one room, everything is in one space, is called a studio. Yes, a studio apartment, normally smaller, but they can still be expensive, especially if you buy a studio apartment in somewhere like London, in a big city. They can be quite luxurious, expensive, or it might just be a small flat with everything in one room: the kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, all in one room. Okay, so here are some types of houses that you might live in, or that you might know people who live in these types of houses. So we can now look at rooms. Let's have a look. Remember, if you do have any, you can comment and ask away any questions or doubts that you may have. So, types of homes, we can cross off. Now, rooms then. So, what different rooms do we have in a house or in a flat? I mean, typically, you would have a bedroom, or 2 bedrooms, or 3 bedrooms. Yes, now there are different types of bedrooms you can have. You might have what we call the main bedroom. That would be normally in a family home where the parents sleep, the main bedroom. It's also sometimes called the master bedroom. The master bedroom, often where the parents will sleep. You can also have a single bedroom or a single room where you only have one single bed for one person. And similarly, if you have a double bed for 2 people, then you can have a double bedroom. Okay? You could also have, let me remove my brackets. Let's go like this. You can also have a spare bedroom, or what we call a guest bedroom. When I invite someone to my house, I might have an extra bedroom for them to sleep. This is the spare bedroom or the guest bedroom, because a guest is someone that you invite to your house. They are called a guest. So sometimes in maybe bigger houses, you have one room dedicated to your family, your friends, your guests that come to visit you. That would be the spare bedroom or the guest bedroom. Okay. We can then, typical rooms in a house, we have the kitchen, where you do your cooking. We have a living room, or lounge. This is typically where you will lie on the sofa, watch some TV, watch some Netflix. I'm sure you're spending a lot of time in your living room at the moment. So your living room, your lounge, your bathroom, of course. Where you have a shower, where you go to the toilet, where you have a bath maybe. Your bathroom. Now, if you have a bathroom that is attached to your bedroom, so you have a bedroom and in your bedroom there is a bathroom, then this is what we call an ensuite bathroom. I need to remember to write nice and big for you. An ensuite bathroom. Okay? Or an ensuite bedroom. You can say both. Sometimes we just say the ensuite as well. Okay, so bathroom, kitchen, living room, bedroom. What other typical rooms do we have? The most common. Come on. The dining room. Yes, what do you do in the dining room? In the dining room, that is where you eat. You eat dinner. Not everyone has a dining room. Yeah, sometimes maybe your kitchen is also your dining room. But sometimes in some houses you have an extra room with a big dining table for you and your family to sit and have lunch or dinner or breakfast even. And that is a dining room. Also, very typical, the majority of houses will have a hallway. Yes, the hallway is where, when I open the door, I go into the hallway and all of the rooms are off the hallway. So I walk down the hallway, I turn right, I go into the master bedroom. I leave the master bedroom, I keep walking down the hallway, I turn left, and I go into the spare bedroom, for example, or the bathroom. That is the hallway. So these are rooms that every flat or house has. Maybe not a dining room, but... Now, let's have a look at some other, maybe, optional rooms that not every house has. So, some houses, you might have a study or an office. I'm sure if you have a study or an office, you're spending a lot of time there now. If you're working from home or studying from home, I'm sure that's where you will be. You can have a garage. Yes, a garage, more typically a house on its own, not a flat. A flat doesn't generally have a garage. A garage is where you go and park your car. Yeah, so often houses will have a garage next door where they can park their car, maybe store things. To store things, store means to keep different things. So for example, in my garage at home, we often had in the past our bikes or our scooters. When I was a child, we kept everything in the garage. What else have we got? Obviously, garden. So you might have a back garden or a front garden. If you, again, generally, if you live in a house, you have a garden maybe at the back, behind the house, or a garden at the front, in front of the house. You can see a back or a front garden. What other rooms in the house do we have? Okay, an attic. An attic is normally here, in the roof of the house. Sometimes you will have a room in the roof of the house. Sometimes people use it as a bedroom. Sometimes people use it for this, to store things, to keep things. Okay. We then have a basement. Now, a basement is the opposite of an attic because it is underground. So you have the downstairs, the upstairs, and underneath, you might go down again. You have a basement. Now, a basement is normally for sleeping. It's normally like a bedroom. However, I can also have, in the same place, a cellar. Okay? A cellar is normally for things like wine or food, yeah, where you store extra things that you might have. Often it's used for wine or food because it is often colder than the rest of the house. So you keep a specific temperature for the food or the drink. What else have we got? Okay, we also have a laundry room. A laundry room is where I wash my clothes. Again, not all houses have a laundry room. It's where you go, you have your washing machine, and you put your clothes in the washing machine, you wash them, you go, you leave, and that's a laundry room. Sometimes people just have it in the kitchen, but there are some houses that have a separate laundry room. Okay, and finally, you might have a pantry. Now, a pantry is a bit like a cellar, but it doesn't necessarily have to be under the ground. It could be next to the kitchen. You have a pantry where you will store extra food or drinks. Okay, so this could be very helpful right now if you have a pantry. If if you've been stock buying in Mercadona, like all the people. You might have a pantry where you can store all your extra food. So, they are the rooms of the house. Now, we're going to have a quick look at some basic furniture vocabulary. So as I explained, furniture are the objects in your house. Furniture means sofa or table, or when you go to IKEA, IKEA is a furniture shop. Yeah, so that's what you are buying for your house. Appliances are more smaller, it's bad English. Smaller things like a lamp, that's an appliance, or a TV, that's an appliance. Yeah, they're things that the smaller object that you use, but they're not fixed parts of the house. The furniture is a fixed part of the house. So let's have a look in the kitchen first. Now, if you want to test yourself, you can pause the video if you're watching it. If you're not watching it live, you can pause the video and try and write down as many pieces of vocabulary that you know related to the kitchen, and then come back. Okay? So in the kitchen, we're going to have an oven. Yes, an oven, very hot. I open the oven and I put my chicken in to roast my chicken. Let's cook my food. Now, an oven looks, I'm a very bad drawer, but it looks something like this. Okay, so I open my oven and I put my food in. Here, on top of the oven, I have these 4 things. Yes, where I might fry something. I might make my scrambled eggs in the morning. So the oven is this part. This part is what we call the hob. The hob or the cooker. The cooker is not a person. The cooker is this. This is the cooker. Okay? Now, we might have, well, you should have a fridge. Yes, for all your vegetables, your meat. You open the fridge, the cold place where you keep all your food. And a freezer. The freezer is for even colder things like ice cream. You keep the ice cream in the freezer. You also have a sink. A sink, you'll be using this a lot at the moment as well, because it's where you wash your hands, yes, and where you wash the plates. So you have a sink, you put your plates in the sink, and then you wash them, okay? The thing that I turn on for the water to come out is called a tap. Let's put them together. A tap. The tap is where the water comes out. The sink is where I put my plates to wash them. Okay, sink, tap. Excuse me. And we also have in the kitchen lots of cupboards. A cupboard is the square thing or rectangular thing that has a little handle. I open the cupboard and I take out my pasta. Or I open the cupboard and I take out my, what else do you keep in the cupboard? Biscuits, for example. Okay, that's a cupboard. You can also have a shelf, or in the plural, so one shelf, 2 shelves. Yes, remember in English, if you have one thing with an F, you have 2 things with a V, shelves. A shelf is where it's like this, a line, and I put things on my shelf. So it's open, it's not closed. Okay? You might keep books on a shelf, for example. So, like this. Yeah, for example, I might keep my, my boxes of cereal on a shelf, or my books. It's typically used for books, not in the kitchen, but you might have recipe books on a shelf. Okay? And you would also have drawers. A drawer or drawers? So a cupboard is the bigger thing. A drawer is where I open it like this, pull it the drawer like this. I normally keep things like knives, forks, spoons in the drawer. Okay, so it's more of a flat rectangular, and you will have maybe 2 or 3 in a row. That's a drawer. Okay. What else do we have in a kitchen? Let's have a look. Okay, we're talking more generally. Ooh, it's speaking for ages. We're talking more generally. We can have cutlery. You might not have heard this word. Cutlery is talking in general about, my chalk is running out. Knives. Yes, knives. Knives, forks, and spoons. I don't know if I can draw successfully a knife, a fork, and a spoon, which is a little embarrassing. Let's give it a go. Yes, a knife, something like this. You definitely can't see that. Hopefully you know what a knife is already, and my drawing is not confusing you. A knife, a fork, something like this. This looks more like the devil's fork, but you know. A knife, a fork, and a spoon. Yes, I know, I am not an artist. I am only an English teacher. Knives, forks, and spoons. That, in general, is your cutlery. You then also have your crockery. Again, you maybe haven't heard this word before. Your crockery is the general word for your plates, your bowls, your glasses. Yeah, glasses for your drinks, your bowls for your pasta or your cereal, your plates for your breakfast or anything that you just put on a plate, your meat, your vegetables on a plate. That in general is called your crockery. Okay, your crockery. So cutlery, crockery, it's probably, obviously there are a lot more things in a kitchen, but for now, that's enough. Now let's have a look in your bedroom. I'm just going to get some more chalk. In your bedroom. Green is better. Your bedroom. Let's try the pink. So in your bedroom, you obviously have your bed. Like I said before, you might have a sink. Oh, this is much better. You might have a queen-sized bed. It's a bit bigger. Or even a king-sized bed, even bigger. Okay, so you have your bed. On your bed, when you get into bed, well, when you make your bed, the first thing you put on at the bottom is your sheet, your bed sheet. Careful how you pronounce this, it's sheet, okay, not the other one. So the sheet goes on your bed, and you go on the sheet. Now, once you're on the sheet, you have something that goes over the top. This is your duvet, in the winter anyway. In winter, we use a duvet to keep warm. You might also have a blanket. So a duvet is much thicker, it's thick. Whereas blanket, you can use on the sofa or in your bed as an extra, for extra warmth. And then your head goes on what we call the pillow. Okay, there is a difference between pillow and cushion. This is a pillow, it's rectangular normally, whereas a cushion is square. So your cushions are normally on your sofa and your pillow is normally on your bed. Okay? So that's literally just your bed. What else might you have in your bedroom? Next to your bed, you might have a bedside table. This is the table that is next to your bed, where you normally would have a lamp on your bed, yeah, a little light, a lamp on your bed. You might have some photos on your bedside table. You might have a book. It's where you keep things normally. Okay, in your bedroom, you might also have a rug. A rug looks something like this. Dun, 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 dun. Might have a pattern on it, and it goes on the floor next to your bed or in the middle of the room. It's to make the room look pretty. Okay, that's a rug. A bedside table, a lamp, a rug. You might have a desk in your room. A desk is a table where you are going to study, for example. Okay, what else have we got? And what I said before, you might have a bookshelf or bookshelves. Now, a bookshelf is one. Okay. I'll draw you another little picture. One of these is a shelf. This one here is a shelf. This whole thing is a bookcase. A bookcase. All of it together is a bookcase. Okay? Let's very quickly look at the bathroom, because then I have to go. So, the bathroom. In the bathroom, you will also have a sink, like in the kitchen. Remember what the sink was? Go to the sink, wash your hands after you've used the toilet. I use the toilet, and then I go to the sink and I wash my hands. First, I normally flush the toilet. Yes, using the toilet flush. I flush the toilet, then I go and I wash my hands. I might have a shower in the bathroom. Normally, most bathrooms have a shower. Some bathrooms, not all, have a bath. You lay down, get in the bath. And your bathroom might also have a cabinet with a mirror. Ooh, my chalk is nearly out. I have more. So a cabinet is like a cupboard. Yeah, but a cabinet typically is made from glass. You know, glass, like a glass of wine, it's made from glass. And often, the first thing you see of the cabinet is a mirror. You know, a mirror where I can see myself. Yeah, you normally have a mirror, and then you open the cabinet, and you have things like medicine, your toothbrush, your toothpaste in the cabinet. Okay, can't think of much else for a bathroom. Oh, you might also have a bin. Yes, a bin. I actually can use my bin prop. Bin. In your bedroom as well, you might have a bin. Probably in the kitchen too. Most rooms of the house, you will have a bin. And I suppose for cleaning the toilet as well, I have a toilet brush to clean the toilet. Okay. So that's it for today then on house and home vocabulary. But I have a suggestion for you. Why don't you get some of this vocabulary, write it on a little post-it note, and go around your house and stick it to the relevant thing. Your partner or your housemate or your flatmate or your family might think you're a bit weird, but who cares? Do it. And then you and your family or your friends or whoever you live with, or if you live alone, you can use this time that you're at home to learn a bit of English vocabulary. You also have the worksheets on the classroom for you to practice it. But yes, remember, if you have any questions, feel free to comment and ask away. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.